Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. And today I'm going to be taking a look at a brand new 2024 release from two of the finest musicians ever on the scene, the one and only saxophonist David Bitelli and drummer Ollie Usiskin. And this is their newest recording, a duo project, Harlesden Sessions. So Harlesden Sessions, as I mentioned, is a duo project featuring saxophonist David Bitelli and drummer Ollie Usiskin. And this was an album that really took me by surprise and turned out to be very good and a really enjoyable listening experience. And when I first heard that these two were going to get together to record a duo album featuring sax and drums, I was very intrigued and very interested to see how these two were going to pull it off because I have listened to a number of different duo albums over the years in various configurations, from guitar and bass to guitar and drums to piano and bass to piano and sax to even guitar and sax. But very rarely have I ever come across a duo album featuring saxophone and drums. Now, there have been a couple of musicians out there who have done this live, but I don't think I've ever come across a sax and drums duo album. So when I finally heard this album, I was completely blown away by how good it really was. And the playing, as you'd expect from two world class musicians, is just absolutely incredible. And this album, at times, really sounds like Michael Brecker. Think back to his classic track Syzygy from his self-titled debut album from 1987. And for the first couple of minutes on that track, you had Michael Brecker on saxophone and Jack DeJohnette on drums. Now, just imagine that as an entire album, and you would probably get something close to this because it's very much in the spirit of Michael Brecker. But unlike Jack DeJohnette and Michael Brecker, what David Bitelli and Ollie Usiskin is they take that track and pretty much turn it into an entire album with lots of improvising, and there's lots of space for soloing, and it works really well. And this album really captured the spirit of Rashid Ali and John Coltrane from many years ago, but Bitelli and Uskinskin don't really try to emulate what Ali and Coltrane did. They kind of take things in a different direction and put their own spin on the sax and drum configuration. And as we all know, sax and drums have been a part of music since pretty much the beginning of time, but it's very rarely you ever get to hear those two instruments in a duo setting. So I was pleasantly surprised by what these two came up with, and as I said, it works really well. So let's have a look, shall we? So it's just a little bit of liner notes about how this project came together. And between Bitelli and Uskinskin, they have pretty much done it all and played with just about everyone. Bitelli, of course, has played with Airto Moreira, Robert Cray, and Kenny Wheeler and Terry Riley. And Uskinskin, of course, he has played with the Trio Zone with Carl Law and Rob Staten. He's also been featured on the great 19 Men of Tame, which was the tribute to Alan Holdsworth, playing alongside with Mike Stern and John Etheridge. And he is also the drummer for DB-Infusion. And he's also played with Jim Mullen, Nigel Price, Gareth Williams, and Theo Travis. And he is currently the drummer for the Jeff Beck Experience, which is a remarkable tribute band to the legendary Jeff Beck. And in my opinion, Ollie Usiskin is one of the finest drummers in the world, and he just sounds absolutely incredible on this album, as does David Bitelli as well. And the way Usiskin and Bitelli approach their instruments, the way they are able to feed off one another, the rapport they've got to really create a very unique sound, just as a duo comprised of sax and drums, is absolutely remarkable. And as I said, it's very rarely you ever come across a sax and drums duo album, but this one really stands up very well. And I would even go as far as to say that this was one of the best albums of 2024. It's that good and it's very enjoyable. The production on this album is absolutely crisp. The sound quality is excellent. You really get the sense that these two are playing live as a duo in front of you, because you can hear every single thing that's going on, and it's just absolutely amazing. So all of the compositions are written and composed by David Bitelli and Ollie Usiskin. So we've got 13 tracks, and they're all quite relatively short-ish pieces. The longest track is like 5 minutes and 55 seconds. So you've got tracks that are like around about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and 4 minutes, and almost 6 minutes long. So they're all quite relatively short tracks. But the entire album, from top to bottom, is just excellent. The musicianship, the rapport, the chemistry, everything about Usiskin and Bitelli as a duo is just absolutely remarkable. And they really bring out the best in one another and in each other's playing. And what can I say, really? It's just an amazing album, and highly recommended if you can find yourself a copy. It's so good. So we got the first track, which is the opener, Determination, which is absolutely excellent. Then we got The Reminder, which is another great track as well. Just Go is a great track. Caution is remarkable. The Rise is lovely. Told You Once is a very fun track. Temperamental is another great track as well. Particulate Motion, which kind of reminds me a little bit of Michael Brecker, one of my favourite tracks from this album, absolutely remarkable. The Underneath, which is a great track. Train is another great track as well. The Agreed Two Step is another favourite track of mine. And Partly Party, which is a really fun track as well. And then we got the last track, which is called Rovili, which is another excellent track and a great way to close out the album, which is probably the shortest track of the entire album, which is like 2 minutes and 29 seconds long. But a great album from start to finish, and these guys sound absolutely amazing. Ollie Usiskin's drumming is off the charts. He brings a very percussive and almost looseness to his drumming. He's on top form. David Bitelli's sax playing really channels in the spirit of Michael Brecker, but he is still very much his own man. And even in Usiskin's drumming, at times I can hear a little bit of Jack DeJohnette, I can hear a little bit of Gary Husband in there, but he's still very much his own man, and he's on top form, as I said. So the standout tracks for me are Determination, The Rise, Temperamental, Particulate Motion, The Agreed Two Step, Partly Party, and Ravioli. But the entire album from start to finish is excellent and highly recommended if you enjoy listening to duo albums. And as I said, this is a duo album you wouldn't really come across that much due to the configuration, but don't let that fool you, because sax and drums still rocks, still kicks ass, and it's just amazing. And as I said, one of the best albums of 2024, and one of the most pleasant surprises of the year. Wasn't really something that I expected, but at the same time, highly enjoyable. So there you have it. David Bitelli and Ollie Usiskin, Harlesden Sessions. Excellent stuff, and one of the standouts of 2024. Love it. So that's going to be it from me. I am going to wrap this up now. What's your thoughts on David Bitelli and Ollie Usiskin Harlesden sessions? Did you enjoy it? What's your favourite track from the album? Is it Determination, The Reminder, Just Go, Caution, The Rise, Told You Once, Temperamental, Particulate Motion, The Underneath, Train, The Agreed Two Step, Partly Party, or Ravioli? Or did you just enjoy the entire album from start to finish? There's no right or wrong answer. We all have our favourite tracks. You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below. And I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. So until then, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.